Shalom. Kol holo Yahweh Ba'ashum Yahusha Ba'ashum Rukach Wadash. The bonds of the apostles, the bonds of the elders, at Great Millstone, who rule well and taught me the truth. Much respect to you brothers out there to preach his word and truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of earth. Tabernacle David that's being risen up right before your very eyes, a hopeful elect, a speckled bird. To you I say shalom. Let's get into this lesson, right? As you see the title, right? The lamb and the lion. And this is referring to our big brother, Yahawashi, right? Yahweh being the Father, who the world calls God, right? Ba'ashim in the name, right? Yahawashi, who's the world calls JC, Jesus Christ, right? And so the Lord, Yahweh, has set up his son to be the lamb and when he's coming back, the lion, right? The lamb as a sacrificial lamb for the remission of sins of our people. And when he comes back, as I said earlier, he's coming back as a lion to consume and to destroy our enemies and the 2/3 because they're considered enemies, but they're going to come back in the kingdom in their right mind. But as well, once again, with him coming as a lion, once again, he's coming to take those crowns. So let's go ahead, get some scriptures, and Yahweh desires us to edifying lesson. See right here, Matthew 1 and verse 1, the book of the generations of Yahawashi Mashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham, right? Who is the son of David, right? Because this will go over a lot of people's heads. That's why the Lord has set up apostles, prophets, teachers to give you true understanding. It's regeneration, reincarnation, right? Everyone that's upon this earth and in the spiritual realm, right, has died and came back. Right? To the average person, to a person in Christianity, that sounds wild. That sounds crazy. Well, the scriptures say, right, and it's Yahawashi speaking, as you read in John verse 1, Salaki, in John chapter 1 on down, right? Right? I come through the volume of the book. It is written of me. So not only have we, Yahweh Ratazah, we're the prophets coming back, and just people in general, right? People in general have died and came back, right? You're just in the new flesh. Once again, going back to the example as I gave in John 1, right? I come through the volume of the book. It's written of me. Yahawashi is all throughout the scriptures. From the beginning to the end, Yahawashi is all throughout the scriptures, right? And what we reading, who is the son of David? That's King Solomon. Who's the son of Abraham? That's Isaac, right? And we're going to get this. And we're going to get into how, he was always set up from the foundation of the earth to be that sacrificial lamb and to take the crowns of our enemies, right? Matthew 1 and 1. It's like in Matthew 1 in verse, I'll just go ahead and get to the point as you see it right here. Matthew 1 and verse 21. And she, talking about Mary, right, shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahawashi. You got to break down the name Yahawashi, right? It means he's the savior, or he's the deliverer, right? For he shall save his people from their sins. And how is he doing that? Or how did he do that? By being the sacrificial lamb for our people, right? And eventually when he comes back, hey, man, that's beautiful, man. Because Yahweh Ratazah, we're of the elect, We're going to get those new bodies when he comes back. With that armada fleet of chariots and the fathership, man, it's going to be beautiful, man. All right? So we got this right here with Isaac. And when we get this in Isaac right here in Genesis 22, this is going to show you, even from Isaac, that he was set up to be a sacrifice. Now, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but a lot of y'all should already know the history on it. But if not, we're kind of brushing back on it, right? And we're just going to get ahead and read it. But yeah, getting back to it, yeah. It just wasn't time for Yahawashi to die at that time, right? So we'll get it. We'll get into it. Genesis 22 and verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that power did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thy only son Isaac, right? Whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. Right? So this is a showing of Abraham's faith. The Lord told him to go do something. How much faith do you have? Right? How much faith do you have? Are you going to actually go through with this? And for those that already know the account, once again, if not, we're brushing up on it. As we read in verse 3, he went ahead and tried to complete this task. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took two of his young men with him, Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went into the place of which power had told him. Then the third day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar. And Abraham said unto this young man, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. Right? So let's pretty much jump to the point, right? Let's get to the point. Let's see. Verse 10, and Abraham stretched forth his hand and took his knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest power, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, from me. Right? So this was a task. This was a task, man. Showing his faith. But this was also showing, right, a prelude of things to come. That Isaac, for those that don't know, once again, Isaac is Yahawashi, right? Let's get back to it. So it just wasn't time for him to be sacrificed right then and there. But even back then, it was showing that he was going to be made a sacrifice. Let's get this in 2 Samuel 7 in verse 10. Now this is talking about King Solomon, right? 2 Samuel 7 and verse 10. Moreover, I will appoint thee a place for my people Israel, and I will plant them, that they may dwell in the place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall their children of wickedness afflict them any more as before time. That's coming. That's coming. Where we're going to have peace upon peace. We're going to be those guys, man. and don't men, the one of the ones, right? And as since the time that I commanded judges to be over my people Israel, Slacky, and I cause thee to rest from all thy enemies, also the Lord telleth thee that he will maketh thee an house. And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, right, pass away, I will set up thy seed after thee. Who's that seed after thee? It's talking about King Solomon, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish the kingdom, right? And he shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever, right? Eventually, it's going to happen in the times that we're coming into. The kingdom is going to be established forever, and it's going to be ultimate peace, right? I will be his father, and he shall be my son. Check this, right? Check this. If he commit iniquity, I will chastise him with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men. As well as a future prophecy. If he goes off, for those that know, right? In his latter years, King Solomon went off and started serving these other gods of wood and stone. But if you read what happened to him, right? He died in peace. He wasn't beaten by the stripes of many men. So you got to ask yourself, right? What is this talking about? It's just talking about when he came back as Yahawashi, right? Who's the world calls JC, right? He was beaten with many stripes and of the children of men. That's what happened, right? Isaiah 53. Now this is talking about our big brother Yahawashi, right? Once again, this section of the lesson is him being the lamb. Once again, the lamb being a sacrificial lamb for the remission of the sins of the people, right? Israelites, not the other nations, all right? Genesis, all right? That's another showing that they don't have the truth because they didn't make a blood oath with Yahawashi. They didn't do that. They weren't delivered from the hands of the Egyptians. That didn't happen. They wasn't out there in the wilderness with us. You did have that, because I'm pretty sure you got some of the niggas that won't bring it up, but you did have the mixed multitude, right? But the Lord separated us from them, right? You got to remember that. The Lord separated us from them, right? Because those were some damn Hamites. You had an account where a damn Hamite cursed the name of the Lord. What happened? That man got put to death. All right. Hey, that little boy, that man got put to death, man, for doing that. So, yeah, the Lord separated us from them. But regardless, other than that, all right, these other nations were not delivered from the hands of the Egyptians, right? They were not given the laws, statutes, and commandments. So let's get this. Isaiah 53, verse 1. Who have believed our report? And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as the root of the dry ground. He have no form, no comeliness. And when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we shall desire him. He is displeased and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. And we hid as it were our faces from him, and he was despised and we esteemed him not. So when he came back, right, got a lot of people, you had the wicked Pharisees, right, wicked Sadducees and Pharisees. They feared that he was going to take his place. Matter of fact, you go into the account, they chose Barabbas over him. They said, let the blood be upon our people and our children. That's why you see a lot of Jakes getting shot dead in the street. still to this very day, right? Surely he had borne our griefs and had carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of power, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. You see that? Being the sacrificial lamb. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. Right? He died for us, man. Matter of fact, the scriptures speak of he died for his sins and for the sins of the people. Why does it say for his sins? For what he did in his past lives? Because you gotta understand, and those of us listening, you should know, right? He didn't commit any sins while he was Yahawashi. But as he was Solomon, going after these other guys who went in stone, he had to pay for that, right? He had to pay for that. What he did as Adam, he had to pay for that, right? So he paid for his own sins, and he paid for our sins. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord have laid on him the iniquity of us all, right? Because you got to remember the priests, right? The Levites laid hands on him too, right? He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth, because this is the condition of the battle. He understood the road that he had to go through. That's why, he was doing so much praying the day before. So much praying that blood started coming out, man, from his sweat. Because it was such a heavy burden. But he knew he had to go through what he had to go through, man. He is brought up as a lamb to the slaughter, right? You see, he's the sacrificial lamb. And as the sheep before the shears is done, he opened not his mouth. He taken from prison and from his judgment, who shall declare his generation, for he was cut off out of the land of the living for the transgressions of my people he was stricken. You see? And that's why we tell you, man, when you get in this truth, actually realize what you have, the beauty of this truth, man. The Lord died for you. Not only did he die for you, he gave you this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Make your call and election sure. Give him no rest till he establish the kingdom. This is not something you be playing around with, right? Let's see. He made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he have done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. And that's as the man of the Lord. The servant is not above his masters, man. Some shape, form, or another, they're going to come after the man of the Lord, and they're going to call you the worst and the scum of the earth, especially with these AI videos and stuff like that, right? Being the accuser of thy brother, right? But the men of the Lord already know these things is coming. Hey, just endure it. Whatever the Lord has for you to endure. And hey, Yahawashi, you get out this mug, you know what I'm saying? Regardless, see the fall of your enemies. But anyways, verse 10, yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief, and when thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand, right? So these things is coming, man. All right. Once a sloggy. This is a showing once again that he was a sacrificial lamb, right? But that was for the elect's sake, first and foremost, and ultimately, the 2/3 is going to come back in their right minds, and we're gonna have priests. We're gonna prosper forever and forever, man. Thanks to our big brother Yahawashi, man. Right? Let's get this in Hebrews 9, and we'll start at verse 19. For when Moses has spoken every precept to do all the people according to the law, he took the blood of the calves and the goats with the water and scarlet wood and the hyssop and sprinkled both the book and the people, saying, with the blood of the testament which power have enjoined unto you. Moreover, he sprinkled the blood, both the tabernacle and all the vessels of the ministry. And almost all things are by the law purged with the blood, and without shedding of the blood is no remission. Check this. It was therefore necessary that the pattern of things in the heavens should be purified with these, but the heavenly things themselves with better sacrifices than these. Right? What's that? Ultimately, Yahawashi, that great heavenly sacrifice. For a Mashiach did not enter into the holy place made with hands, which are the figures of the true, but in heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of power before us. Nor yet he should offer himself often, as a high priest enter into the holy place every year with the blood of others. For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world, right? Because we're going to get into the point of that, right? I'm going to just say the Lord is not going to be over here dying over and over and over for you, man, right? That's why the Lord set him up as the ultimate sacrifice, right? But now, once in the end of the world, have he appeared to put away sin by sacrifice of himself. You see? He was not going to be that sacrificial lamb, had to die every year, every month, or whatever. No, he's that ultimate sacrifice, right? For then must he often have suffered since the we just read that, verse 26, all right? Verse 27, and as it appointed unto men once to die, but after this, the judgment. You see that? Christians will use this, say, oh, it's talking about men. It's talking about us, you only die once. No, it's talking about our big brother Yahawashi. This is for him and being the sacrifice of the people, of our people, right? Because I got to say that in damn Genesis, preaching a whole nother gospel, right? Saying that the heathens can make it. He was the sacrificial lamb unto our people. It was appointed once for men to die. It's talking about our big brother Yahawashi. Him dying once for the remission of our sins. He's not going to keep on dying for us, man. That's why ultimately the Lord did away with the law of sacrifice. The law of sacrifice is done away with because our big brother Yahawashi died for us, right? So a Mashiach was once offered to bear the sins of many, and unto them that look for him shall appear the second time without sin and salvation. You see that? That's how we going to get those new bodies, right? He had to die so we can get those new bodies. So we can have peace in the kingdom. Sin is our kryptonite. You got to remember, this is the Lord's movie. The Lord do whatever he want. All right. He already planned this from the foundation of the earth for these things to come to pass. Right. So once again, in order for us to get those new bodies, to have prosperity and peace forever and forever, our big brother Yahawashi had to be that one and done sacrifice. Let's get this right here. Matthew 26 and verse 26. As they were eating, Yahawashi took bread and blessed it and baked it and gave it to the disciples and said, take, eat, this is my body. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, drink ye all of it. For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remissions of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink hence of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. Because Yahawashi love drinking wine. So best believe our big brother Yahawashi, all right, to him, since he's been in the heavens, it's been about 2 days, right? 1,000 years. It's but a day to the Lord. So, hey, our big brother Yahawashi been waiting to drink some wine, man. But yeah, hey, once again, him dying is for the remission of our sins, right? And so let's go ahead and get some scriptures about him being the lion, right? Some of y'all may already know this. Isaiah 34 and verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that therein, in the world, and the things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all the armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall melt with their blood, right? Ultimately, that nuclear missile, right, gonna hit this place too. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. It's talking about that nuclear missile, right? Hey, a whole bunch of thousands upon thousands ICBM missiles, right? And all the hosts shall fall down as a leaf falleth out the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Check this. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come upon Idumea. Why does it say Idumea right there? As Esau Edom, putting in the Greek word right there, trying to hide who this is really talking about. It's talking about the Edomites, right? It was already prophesied that at the end of days, the Edomites would be in power, right? And upon the people of my curse to judgment, right? So 2/3 is going to get it too. The sword of the Lord is filled with the blood, is made with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goat, for the fat of the kidneys of the ram. For the Lord has a sacrifice and Basra. And you Edomites about to get it. And for the great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks of the bulls, and the land shall be soaked with blood, and the dust made with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord Yahawashi vengeance, the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion, right? And who is claiming that they the people, and they really ain't the people? These Amalekites, the head tribe of Esau Edom, right? The controversy of Zion, they about to get it, man. 2/3 of Jake, they about to get it. These Edomites, they about to get it. These other nations, they about to get it, man. Let's get this in Isaiah 63. I think I'm going to close it out right there for the sake of time, though. Isaiah 63 and verse 1. Who is it that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? Who is this? This is that in his glorious apparel, traveling with the greatness of his strength, that I may speak righteousness, mighty to save. This is talking about our big brother Yahawashi. Wherefore thou art red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. It's going to be so much of a bloodshed that his glorious garment is going to be as if he was in a wine press, man. He got all that wine juice all over his garment, man. I have trodden down the wine press alone, and the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury. Their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my remnant. For the vengeance is in my heart. The year of my Redeemer is come. So, hey, that's the Lord coming down as a lion. All right? So, Yahweh desires the edifying lesson. Shalom.